Deep in the frozen heart of Sarov, silence was a prayer, a holy ground where time had simply stopped. But in 1946, the heavens didn't open. Instead, the earth trembled under the weight of Soviet iron and steel. The army arrived like a winter storm, extinguishing the ancient candles to make room for a much darker light. The monks were cast out. The bells fell silent, and the first wire of a global secret was finally drawn. Stalin didn't send workers. He sent shadows. 10,000 Gulag prisoners arrived to build a city that didn't exist. They labored in the killing cold, guarded by rifles as the holy catacombs were hollowed out for atomic research. The monks' quiet cells became laboratories. The prayers were replaced by the feverish scratch of equations on blackboards. By the time the last wire was tight, Arzamas 16 was a fortress, a golden cage born from nameless graves. Invitations didn't arrive by mail. They came as a tap on the shoulder, a silent command from the state. Leave your past, change your name, tell your family you are working for the future of the great nation. The journey was a ghost train, windows blacked out, moving toward a point that officially had no GPS coordinates. When the heavy steel gates finally opened, the scientists didn't find a prison. They found a forbidden Soviet utopia. In a country of bread lines, Arzamas 16 offered caviar, French perfume, and the finest silk for the elite's wives. It was a masterclass in psychological control. Give them everything, and they will give you the ultimate weapon. But the comfort had a price. Every phone call was recorded. Every whisper in the bedroom belonged to Stalin. Children played under the shadow of concrete walls, believing the barbed wire was there to keep the world safe. The residents were the lucky few, living in a palace where the only thing missing was the exit key. Inside this bubble of luxury, the brilliant minds were pampered, isolated, and slowly becoming prisoners of their own genius. They walked on paved streets, but their shadows fell on the secret labs hidden beneath the old monastery's foundations. The golden cage was locked. The work had begun, and the countdown to the atomic age was now inevitable. Privacy was never part of the project. In Arzamas, even the laboratories were wired, turning science itself into a listening post. Behind every smile at the local theater, there was an informant taking notes on who laughed just a bit too loud. Every scientific calculation was double-checked by shadows, as the line between a simple error and high treason grew dangerously thin. In this windowless world, you didn't just fear the radiation. You feared the person sleeping right there beside you. Then came the day the theory turned lethal. Alexander Belov stood over the core, a master of invisible forces. A sudden slip of the hand, a metallic click. In a heartbeat, a ghost of blue light bathed the laboratory. It was beautiful, ethereal, and deadly. That silent flash of radiation was the cold, sudden kiss of certain death. Belov knew instantly. He didn't scream. He simply watched his hands, knowing his DNA was unraveling in real time. While his cells burned, Belov remained a scientist. He spent his final hours documenting the mistake to save the others. He didn't ask for a priest. He asked for a pen. His last gift to humanity was a blood-stained physics manual. Within hours, his name was erased. To the party, Belov never existed. He was just a ghost in a machine. The laboratory was scrubbed clean of his presence, leaving only the cold smell of chemicals and the radiation's lingering bite. The work didn't stop for grief. The bomb demanded more blood, and the clock was ticking louder than any heartbeat. They ate their caviar in silence, knowing that tomorrow the blue light could choose any one of them for sacrifice. Above the ground, the city sparkled with life, a beautiful lie hiding the lethal truth buried deep beneath the pines. Sleep was a forgotten luxury as the deadline approached. Every waking second was dedicated to the math of mass destruction. The vacuum was closing in. The scientists were no longer men. They were gears in a massive, cold atomic clock. October 1961. The world held its breath while a monster was being prepped for its first and only terrifying scream. They called it the Tsar Bomba, a device so powerful it made every other weapon in history look like a toy. Sakharov looked at his creation not with pride, but with the haunting realization that he had summoned a demon. The countdown began, not just for the explosion, but for the soul of every man who had built this nightmare. High above the frozen wasteland, a lone pilot carried the weight of the sun, strapped to a massive silk parachute. Gravity took hold. For those few seconds of descent, the world was silent, caught in a terrifying, final, bated breath. Then, the light. A flash so violent it could be seen 1,000 kilometers away, blinding the very sky itself. A pillar of fire rose 60 kilometers high, punching through the atmosphere like the fist of an angry, vengeful god. The shockwave circled the planet 3 times, a ripple in reality that told the world Alzheimer's was no longer secret. Underneath the concrete, the creators felt the earth moan. Their victory felt like a funeral for the future of humanity. At that moment, the scientist became a dissident. The flash hadn't just split the atom, it had split his soul. The cheers were hollow. As the dust settled in the Arctic, a heavy, toxic silence descended upon the halls of Alzheimer's. Sakharov walked the familiar streets, but the golden cage now felt like a high-security prison for the damned and lost. The medals arrived by the dozens, but they couldn't wash away the metallic taste of guilt and the atomic fire. The children of the vacuum still played in the shadows of the fences, blissfully unaware of the monsters their fathers built. Secrets were buried deeper than before. The state demanded total amnesia, as if the sky hadn't just burned for them. Decades passed in a blur of gray concrete and radiation badges, while the rest of the world moved on without them. Then, the whispers changed. The empire was crumbling and the walls of the secret city began to crack with history. In 1995, the void finally got a name. The secret city appeared on maps, but its soul remained hidden away. The geniuses of Alzheimer's emerged into a world that didn't know them, carrying secrets that no one wanted to hear. Their legacy isn't just the bomb. It's the silence of the lives they sacrificed for a dream that turned cold. They lived in the vacuum, between the light of the atom and the darkness of the state, forgotten by time itself. We look at their faces and wonder, was the golden cage worth the cost of losing a piece of humanity?